From the time that I was 4 years old to the time that I graduated college, I played soccer. It's what defined me. It's how I defined myself. I was raised in a Christian home. I considered myself a believer my entire life. My parents talked about God, but as soccer became more and more of a priority in my life, going to church, reading my Bible, talking about God became less and less of a priority. I was introduced to Young Life at a young age. I had an older brother and older sister who were involved with Young Life, and so I knew Cone and Michelle pretty much since elementary school. But I didn't really get involved with Young Life until I got to high school, and I was able to go with my sister and some of my friends who were going to Young Life, and that's when I started hearing about Young Life Camp. I signed up for camp 3 summers in a row, but each time I ended up not being able to go because of soccer. Because I wasn't able to go to camp ever, towards the end of my high school career, I kind of stopped going to Young Life, and I started focusing more on soccer and what was expected of me. Soccer wasn't the only distraction in high school. I got caught up with boys and with the party scene, and I wanted to fit in with everyone. And all of that took away from Young Life and from my relationship with God. Cone and Michelle were always there. They were always encouraging me to attend Young Life Club and camp and trying to get me to be there and talk about Jesus. But a lot of times it wasn't really what I wanted to hear. It wasn't a priority. I tried to avoid them. I feared that they would judge me for the actions that I was taking. I started college in love with an amazing man named Trey, and with plans for my future to play soccer overseas once I finished and to spend the rest of my life with him. On October 5th, 2012, I got a phone call telling me that Trey had gotten in a car accident early that morning and did not survive. My world stopped. And part of the future that I planned shattered. Rather than dealing with any of it, rather than turning to God, I held on to soccer. It had always been there. I made the decision the summer before my senior year to medically retire from soccer. And with that decision, every part of the future that I'd planned for myself was gone. I remember sitting on my couch after my 6th knee surgery in pain with no future that I had planned, not knowing what I was gonna do, and texting my Young Life leader and saying they were the only ones that ever told me that there was life outside of soccer. I graduated college, and I got a job in the last place that I wanted to be at my old high school. I was living with my parents, walking the halls of the high school that I went to, the high school that was drenched with memories of Trey and all of my early soccer success, a time in my life that I desperately yearned to be back at. So a few months into the school year, my first year teaching and coaching, I finished up coaching a freshman volleyball game, and I ran into my Young Life leaders, Cone and Michelle. They came up to me and there was small talk, but the only thing I really remember from that conversation was Cone asking me to attend Young Life Camp that summer as a leader. I didn't know at that time, but looking back now, I can see that one conversation, that one question really turned things around for me. I started getting really excited about Young Life. I started going to Young Life clubs. I started talking to my freshman volleyball girls about it, some of my students about it, and I was really excited to get to go to Young Life Camp that summer. I got to go and be a leader for most of my freshman volleyball girls and some other freshman girls. And even though I was experiencing camp in a different role, it was everything that I had ever thought it would be. Deciding to commit 100% to my walk with Jesus wasn't an instantaneous thing for me. Going to Young Life and going to Young Life camp and working with those kids and talking about God with them definitely started all of it, and I knew that that's what I wanted. But I think that when I first really decided 100% to put time and effort into getting to know God and building my relationship with God, that was about a year ago. And it hasn't been easy. There's a lot of anger. I had a lot of reservations, a lot of questions. I didn't really know what the kind of person a Christian was supposed to be, but I had great role models in my life. My Young Life leaders are still a part of Young Life, and the other leaders that I was working with, they became my community. Since I've started walking with Christ, my life isn't just easy all the time. Days are stressful, life is crazy, work is hard. I find joy every day in getting to work with high school kids, going to Young Life Club, that night after work, getting to dance, play, sing, laugh, talk about God with some amazing high school kids. It really shows me the purpose that God has for me. I realized that God brought me home to bring me to Him and to give me the opportunity to pursue high school kids and Young Life kids the way that my Young Life leaders pursued me.